I think we can start, right? Are we live? Okay. Can you hear me? No? So it's still 1 minute left to 12, so we can still say it to be a morning. So, a very good morning, everyone. A very, very warm welcome to all the professors, committee members, students, organizers, and attendees of today's workshop under Theatrixmas 2021. As we harp steadily on the second day of Theatrixmas 2021, we request everyone to tighten your seatbelts and be ready for all the amazing things that are awaiting you. The passion and love for theatre in each one of us has led to what we call Theatrixmas today, a range of celebrity workshops that includes stalwarts from the industry itself, from the 23rd to the 30th of December. We are extremely overjoyed to announce that we have Edugraph by Telegraph as our digital media partner. So, without any further delay, I welcome you the second day of Theatrixmas 2021, which is proud to associate itself with the gracious presence of none other than respected Sir Manish Mitra and his team. But before we begin, I would like to aware all the attendees of a few rules, which goes as follows. All the attendees are requested to keep their videos on throughout the workshop. Please make sure your microphones are off at all times to avoid distractions. Making derogatory or inappropriate remarks will be severely punished and will result in immediate removal from the meeting. And you have to enter the meeting with your full name only and no other name shall be allowed. Now I pass on to Ronak. He'll be handing it over.
Yeah, good afternoon. I think I'm audible now. And you
A
can
very
see
good
me as
afternoon,
well.
sir.
Yeah. So, Shanika, is it time to start or you want to give some introductory note or something?
No, sir, you can start.
Okay, but I don't know whether Shubho has already mentioned, but I would request all of you to kindly put your cameras on, because for theater people, it's very difficult to talk to shadows and images. It's very difficult to do something online because theater is such an art form where living people communicate with living people. So the living vibration matters. But we have been forced due to this situation of ours that we are doing lots of things in online, in virtual media. But I would request all of you, yeah, thank you. Anjali and Pallavi and others, Ronak, kindly to put your cameras on so that I have a feeling that I'm talking to living persons and not to a wall. So today's subject is music cognition on actor's body. Uh, Let me start with a musical note because I'm presently working in Sundarban. Uh, we have a very significant repertory growing in Sundarban. Almost 60 people here from this deprived area of Sundarbans are engaged in very serious kind of theater, and they are in continuous practice. We have a couple of shows from starting from 26th of December, so I'm with them. So let me start with a piece of music, folk tone. Huh? I guess you'd love that. So, Anupam and others. So, thank you all. আমি তোমাদের সকলের হয়ে ওদেরকে ধন্যবাদ জানালাম. I guess you all enjoyed the welcome note from my students of Sundarban. And they sing so well, no? During the discussion, I think you would get to meet them a couple of times more. So today's subject is music cognition on actors or performers' body. To make this discussion or this workshop, virtual online workshop, a bit participatory, I would request you all, at least a few of you, to tell me what is theater for you. I don't look for a very formal, very bookish definition of theater, but what it actually means for you from your own experience of watching a play or walking in a play or just being into a play as a guest artist, as a technician, anything.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Sir, theater for me would be an art form that projects the reality and tries to portray to the people in a way, the real world. It is just a reflection of the real world and the practical situations in a narrative format to the people.
Okay, you have, I don't see your face because I'm not very conversant with this app. But what I understand is you give 3-4 clues about the definition of theater. First, it is very real. It exists in a very real world. And secondly, you said that it has to have a narrative. And yes, these are the two basic things that you said, no? Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, any other definition maybe?
স্যার, যেখানে মানুষ সহজভাবে নিজের মনের কথা এবং নিজের অভিজ্ঞতার কথা অন্য মানুষের সঙ্গে শেয়ার করতে পারবে, সেটা যৌথভাবে হোক বা ব্যক্তিগতভাবেই হোক না কেন।
Fantastic. So কুশল is telling যে মানুষ নিজের যে অভিজ্ঞতা, নিজের যে অনুভব, নিজের যে অন্তরাত্মার অনুরণন, সেটা সে ভাগ করে নিতে পারবে অন্য অনেক মানুষের সাথে যৌথভাবে। ঠিক আছে, এটাও একটা সংজ্ঞা হিসেবে আমরা গ্রহণ করলাম। আর কোন সংজ্ঞা? এনি মোর ওয়ে অফ ডিফাইনিং থিয়েটার, your perception about theater? নাটক বলতে কি বুঝি আমরা? মানে যদি এরকম হয় যে আমি একবার একাডেমিতে গিয়েছিলাম, গিয়ে সেখানে দেখেছিলাম কিছু মানুষ ঘোরাফেরা করে কথা বলছে, দ্যাট ইজ থিয়েটার ফর মি। বা আমি যখন ওই ক্লাস 5-এ পড়তাম তখন শেক্সপিয়ারের ওই চার্লস এন্ড মেরি ল্যাম্বের গল্পগুলো একত্রিত করা ছিল, সেই গল্পগুলো পড়েছিলাম আর মনে মনে ভেবেছিলাম এরা হতে পারে নাটক। মানে হোয়াট ইজ ইয়োর পারসেপশন অ্যাবাউট থিয়েটার? It is not required to be a perfectly very perfect, very bookish definition. Somebody has raised his hands, I guess, no?
Yeah, I think Omlan can speak up.
Sir, according to me, আমার যেটা মনে হয় that theater is basically what I feel truly from my heart is that when I'm acting or even in a play or anything, so I feel that I am being a part of a particular story. I feel that I am no more in touch with the reality, but I am that part of the story. So I get so much absorbed that whenever I read a story, any kind of story or any book, I always feel that if I could be this character, or I could be that kind of character, if these things happened in my life as well. So I feel that theater, or even in an actor's perspective, is celebration of another story.
Amlan, the last line, please, once again.
Is a celebration of a story. Acting in actor's perspective, theater in an actor's perspective.
Fantastic. Amlan, আমি যদি ঠিক বুঝে থাকি, you are talking of a journey in a different reality. It's not that when you are performing, you are out of a real world, you are into another real world. So it's a different reality. And
Yes,
you
sir.
celebrate there. And you celebrate there. Celebration is a very important word for me. Thank you, Amlan.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
I think Shakib.
Sir, for me, theater is the place to give your imagination reality, to shape your imagination and to present it on stage. That will be that will portray your imagination to the audience, and that will give it your reality. For me, theater is this only.
Okay,
Shakib, sir.
Don't you think that it is the same for a painter also?
Yes, sir. To some extent, yes, it is actually.
To some extent, it is all out the same for a painter also, because he imagines something. He has some colors expanding and getting mixed in a different space, in a different energy, and he puts the colors in his canvas.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is an expression of his imagination. Almost it is, this definition goes for any art form. And
Sir,
the first definition, yeah, tell me.
Sir, but sir, for painting, the imagination that we portray, it's a stagnant. But for theater, when we place a drama on the stage, the characters are moving, and you can see your imagination. It's moving on the stage like this. So for
then a film, if we consider a film, then in a film everything is moving.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Then what is the uniqueness of theater? Somebody from at the beginning said that we are exposed to a very real world. I would request her. I'm very smart in forgetting them, so apologies at the beginning. Kindly do revisit your definition and try to think that if we work with a fantasy, will that not be a theater? And if we do not have a narrative, will it not be a theater? Again, if we make a film according to your definition, which complies with a reality and which has a narrative, then how is it different from a theater? Or how a theater is different from a film? Yes, somebody was raising his hand.
Yes, sir. স্যার আমার ক্যামেরাটা অন করতে পারছি না, একটু নেট প্রবলেম আছে। স্যার আমার মনে হয় আমি আসলে সমাজতত্ত্বের ছাত্র, তো আমি সেখানে শিখেছি একটা আইডিয়া আছে ভার্স্টিহান বলে ওয়েবারের, which says that we all try to interpret the scenario of other people from different boots. মানে it's not necessarily যে আমরা সেটাতে ঠিক মানে পার্টিসিপেট করব তাদের মতন করে, কিন্তু আমরা নিজেদের মতো করে নিজেদের সিনারিও থেকে সেটাকে ইন্টারপ্রেট করব। তো আমার মনে হয় একজন নাট্য ব্যক্তিত্ব কিংবা যে কেউ যখন অভিনয় করেন, তারা বোধহয় ওই তারা নিজেরা যে কোনো একটা সমাজের ক্যারেক্টারকে যদি বলা যায়, একটা সাধারণ চাওয়ালা হতে পারে, একটা বিশাল বড় বিউরোক্র্যাট হতে পারে, তাদের যে আইডিয়াটা সেটাকে পোর্ট্রে করার চেষ্টা করেন।
This talks about an actor, not on a theater as a whole. But again, is this a very unique definition? Karan, this applies for a film also. This applies equally for a film also. That It is once the artist's perception about this world, his own viewing into some other reality, some other space, some other crisis, some other energy in the existing universe, and portray it. But what is the uniqueness of theater? So far, yes, Pritha wants to talk again, I guess. Pritha, with your camera on, please.
Yes, sir, my camera is on.
It is on? Okay. Then
Yes,
it is my
sir.
bad luck that I cannot
No,
see your
There
beautiful
are
face.
too many people on screen, so I have been
Okay.
hidden.
Tell
So
me.
actually, I think as you just said, if theater, if I confine the definition only to reality, I think it would be a really limited definition. So definitely, I think theater is somewhere inspired from reality, and it is blended in with fiction, and the person who is creating a story, his imagination obviously comes into play, but I think somewhere it is connected to reality, and moreover the art form I think is very real because it is performed live in front of audience, who in front of audience, that is in physical contact to the actors or the people performing the story. So in that way it is a very real concept.
Okay, Pritha, I think you have mixed up a couple of things. But if I linearly put your thing, taking help from Omlan's vocabulary also, can we call theater a very physical, participatory celebration of life?
Yes, sir, that is very well put.
Yes. So when you say real, actually it implies something different. But when you say very physical, then it means that you are physically present in that space and you physically interact with many other people. It has to be a celebration. At least for me, it has to be a celebration. And it has to be a very participatory celebration. Somebody was telling just before, just after Omlan, or just after the student from sociology. What was his name?
Sir, Soham.
So it was like he was trying to say that it is like perception. Huh?
হ্যাঁ স্যার
মানে সম্বোধা এরকম বলতে চাইছিল যে it is like a perception, an artist's perception about a new reality, but again it, yes, that new reality can be celebrated in the play from the artist's perception and the artist's imagination, and how the artist looks into the world, the universe, the space around him, but it becomes a play, it becomes a theater only when the participation starts from a audience. In theater, audience is not only an applauder. You go and see a painting in an exhibition, you come out, the painting does not change. The painting remains as it is. Only thing is the visual poetry that you carry in your mind changes. It is different, it is subjective from person to person. But a theater starts when at least you have one people in the audience. Otherwise, it's not a theater. So in theater, audience is a component. The energy that we actors, theater people cult in a space, we cult it so strongly that the energy is transmitted in a very closed space when we are performing in a proscenium or a black box like space. But when we are performing in a open space, the energy space that is developed is even more stronger, and it people who come as audience in that space get energized with that extra energy that the actor is generating. And that extra energy conditions his psychosomatic body, the audience's psychosomatic body, and it starts responding. Unless he starts responding, the play does not happen. You can do lots of things, but a play starts happening only when an audience starts responding psychosomatically to the energy that an actor is creating. Yes, you have raised your hand, Chandra. What is your name? You want to say something? Please go ahead.
Yes, sir, Chandrakala.
Chandrakala, yes. Your full name?
Sir, yes, sir.
No, you go ahead. Yes.
Sir, you were talking about the difference between film and theater. আমার জন্য থিয়েটার আর সিনেমার মধ্যে মেন পার্থক্যটা হচ্ছে আমি একটা নাটক যতবার স্টেজে দেখছি সেটা প্রত্যেকবার নতুন ভাবে দেখছি, মানে not one performance is the same, which is a kind of an extended tenet of মানে theater being a very physical activity, a very real activity. কিন্তু একটা সিনেমা যেটা আমি 30 বছর আগে যেটা শুটিং হয়েছে সেটা আমি যতবার দেখছি মানে আমার মানে interpretation of the film might change with every watch, but the performance is the same. The performance that the actors acted 30 years ago or 40 years ago, that is something that
static and structured.
It is static, stagnant. But every time somebody performs, like the আমি সব মানে কয়েকদিন আগে আমি একটা নাটক দেখতে গেছিলাম মেফিস্তো বলে সুমন মুখোপাধ্যায়ের ডিরেকশনে, সেটা আমি মানে আগের দিন যেটা দেখেছি আর আমি পরের বার যদি 6 মাস পরে যেটা দেখবো সেই পারফরমেন্স দুটো পারফরমেন্স কখনো এক হতে পারবে না, মানে আমার মনে হয় সেটা অ্যাটলিস্ট। তো থিয়েটার আর সিনেমার মধ্যে
এবং ওটা যদি পরের দিনও তুমি দেখতে নট ইভেন 6 মান্থস তাহলেও পুরো আলাদা হতো আর কি।
হ্যাঁ একদম, মানে সেটাই হচ্ছে আমার ক্ষেত্রে সব মানে আমার অ্যাটলিস্ট মনে হয় দ্যাট ইজ দ্য বিগেস্ট ডিফারেন্স বিটুইন ফিল্ম এন্ড থিয়েটার।
আর এই ডিফারেন্সটা হওয়ার কারণ কিন্তু ওই একটাই যে লিভিং হিউম্যান বিংস, জ্যান্ত মানুষের সঙ্গে সংঘাত ঘটাচ্ছে প্রতি মুহূর্তে। জ্যান্ত মানুষের লিভিং ভাইব্রেশনটা রেজোনেটেড হচ্ছে। যতক্ষণ না জ্যান্ত মানুষের লিভিং ভাইব্রেশনটা রেজোনেটেড হচ্ছে স্ট্রংলি, ততক্ষণ অব্দি ওটা থিয়েটার হয়েই উঠছে না। You can take the help of big scenography, lots of lights, lots of music, and finally at the core, the human vibration is missing. Then it's not a theater anymore. And when there is a human vibration, as because our space, the space inside our psychosomatic body, the space constituted by our psychosomatic body is very volatile. It's changing every moment. So very naturally, the celebration with that psychosomatic body is continually changing. It is shifting. Maybe it's very, in very small span of time, the shift is very minute, delicate, but the shift is there. When I started talking with you people, when the meeting started, and my actors were singing for you, I was a different Manish Mitra with you. And now as the more I am going into a journey, interacting with you, you are becoming closer, we are sharing ideas, there is a change in the psychosomatic space within ourselves. So what I'm trying to stress is, what I'm trying to bring out is that it is a celebration, it is a participatory celebration, and it is a celebration with a very vibrant living energy. With a very vibrant living energy, which is not there in any other media. If you say dance, well, there is very little difference between dance and other performing arts with theater these days. In post-dramatic theater, we don't differentiate between theater and dance so articulately. So if we all agree with this definition of theater, with this perception about theater, because definition sounds a bit bookish, bit academic, but if we think that theater is like, well, it has to be very living. It has to have the living resonance. It has to be a celebration. It has to be participatory. It has to approach another reality of this universe. And it has to be very rich in terms of the sensibilities of the artist in respect to the contemporary world. Any artist, whether he's a painter or a singer, has to be sensitive about what is happening around him. But because theater exists only in present, theater has no past. Because it is never possible for us now to see Mitra's play. What we can see is a recording of the play. And once a play is recorded, it is no more a play, it's a film. So we cannot see a play which has happened 10 years back. We cannot see a play which has happened last evening. We can never see a play which has happened last evening, because we can maximum see a recording, and once it is recorded, it is no more a play. It's a film. Again, a theater has no future, because today you cannot perform a play and say that I'll perform exactly the same thing tomorrow. What Chandrakala was telling very categorically, that if I perform a play, if I perform a character today, for sure I will be following our same structure, same composition, same music, same light, maybe the same space, maybe the same actors. But everything will be changed, because the living vibration has changed. That is the uniqueness of theater. So, because theater exists only in the present time, the sensibilities of the artist with respect to his perception about the contemporary world and his search for a saner society really matters. So if we agree with this definition of theater, can we say or can we conclude like this, that for theater, the most important thing, or the only important thing, is the living body of an actor, the psychosomatic body of an actor? An actor is only required for a theater, especially in Indian theater, in traditional Indian theater, in folk theaters. We don't require anything else except the actor. When I was studying in CSSD, Central School of Speech and Drama, University of London, then I saw many of the plays in London. I remember I saw War Horse as well. So I was fortunate enough to get a cancelled ticket, because War Horse tickets are sold out 6 months back. I was fortunate enough to get a cancelled ticket, and I could see the play. So I saw 6 to 8 horses running over the stage. All were Muppets. So in Western theater, it is Anukirtana. And in Indian theater, it is Vavanukirtana. We celebrate the Vava. It's not an imitation. It's not Anukirtana. It's Vavanukirtana. But when Kalidasa is writing Avigana Shakuntalam, and Dushyanta is going to the forest on his chariot for hunting and follows the deer, and the deer goes to Shakuntala and Dushyanta sees Shakuntala, we don't build a big chariot on the stage. These days, contemporary theater people are contemporary theater people in the cities are very ignorant about the tradition and the ethnic roots of their culture. So they keep themselves busy in doing such things which are not theater, which overcrowd the theater space, and actually If you put layers and layers and layers of artificial plastic things on the living body, then you are actually hiding the true energy of theater, the true inspiration for theater. The more your living energy is exposed, you are more vibrant. Your theater is much more vibrant. So we don't create a chariot. We don't make a puppet of a deer. We don't create Manish ashram. We don't show the river and the trees. We don't make scenographies of all those things. We require only one actor, and he will create the magic. And most importantly, an Indian actor does not have a gender. So we only have an actor and no actress. Even Chandrakala or Prithas are also actors. When Sabanajmi said that, well, I'm an actor, there was a resonance in the contemporary acting world that, well, what a modern thing she has said. She's not at all gender biased. She's so modern in her ideas. But this is there in our Natashastra. This is there in, if you read the article Rangomancho by Rabindranath Tagore, he has clearly spelled out there যে পুরুষরা পুরুষদের চরিত্র করবে এবং মেয়েরা মেয়েদের চরিত্র, এই পাশ্চাত্যের বর্বরতা যতদিন না আমরা ত্যাগ করবো ততদিন থিয়েটারের উন্নতি নেই। সো রবীন্দ্রনাথ এর থেকে আর কি প্রসিদ্ধ ভাষায় খিস্তি করবেন? এটা তো প্রায় খিস্তি করা আর কি, যে পাশ্চাত্য বর্বরতা। So I'm talking for a long time, boring you all lot. Let me go to my actors again. I will show how, I will ask them to demonstrate how Dushyanto and Shakuntala can be performed. The chariot and everything can be performed by one actor only. What we'll require is an actor and an actor's body. He will be celebrating again. He will not be narrating only. It's not a narrative. It's a physical narrative, definitely. But this physical narrative is meant to celebrate the story or the fiction of Dushyanta meeting Shakuntala in Karnamuni's ashram, following a deer when Dushyanta actually tries to shoot the deer. And then they get married and their love is celebrated. I remind you again that Indian traditional theater, because we take lots of inspirations in our theater from our traditions. Indian theater, traditional Indian theater is a theater of elaboration. It's not a theater of knowing. It's a theater of knowledge. How? I'll tell you. In Western world, if you say that Dushyanta and Shakuntala meets in Karnamuni's ashram, they will ask you, what next? Then you say that they are in love with each other. What next? They get married with each other. What next? They have a son. What next? Dushyanta gets back to his kingdom. What next? And you go on with the story. But in our theater, we say that, well, this is the story. Please do see it. Listen to the story. It takes 5 minutes. And now, let us celebrate the love, the Sringara, for the whole night. We'll celebrate Sringar Rush, the love. If you don't understand Sringar, forget about Sringar. Just think that in this contemporary world with so much of crisis, with so much of ugly things happening all around, it's so important, it is so significant to celebrate love like that. So I'll take you to my actor Kaustav. তুমি ওই দুষ্যন্ত কর্ণমণির আশ্রমে পৌঁছেছে হরিণটাকে ফলো করে, and শকুন্তলার সঙ্গে দেখা হচ্ছে, and then that. And Shubhro Jyoti Sen is a very old friend of ours, a very old collaborator of mine. He will be helping in the Sarod. Shubhro, will you start? Hamshadani. Can everybody see Kaustav? I think this can be better, no?
Yes, sir, we can.
Just allow me 1 minute time. There's a noise outside. I'll tell them to go away because this place does not have exact control of mine. I told you that I'm doing work in Sundarbans. Just allow me a couple of minutes time.
ঘটিমুড়ি 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 কই চলো ভাতটা খেয়ে গেছিস কেন
চলো ঘুরে যা আলোটা পাচ্ছে না আরো আর্টিকুলেট কর ক্যামেরা তো আরো কয়েকটা হরিণ দেখতে পাই আমরা Thank you. So, did it make sense? Could you see Dushyanta, Shakuntala, the deer, and more specifically, could you celebrate the love? Could we celebrate the love making and make you participate in that? So now we come to the very categoric point. Think of the same thing happening without the music. Will it happen?
No, sir.
It's not going to happen. It does not happen. For us, in our theater, sound space is a very important thing. Whenever we do a play, we sit with our musicians and actors, and they collaborate with each other to create a text on the actor's body. So the narrative is created on the actor's body. Whatever you read on the actor's body. Whatever you celebrate, it is celebrated on the actor's body. And the actor's body resonates with the music only. And the actor's body resonates with the music only. We have done very, very extensive and elaborated work on this. My book on music, cognition, and actor's body is under publication, and we call it Nada Upasana. Why Nada Upasana? Because Nada is Brahma. This sounds bit from our Hindu mythology, but it was told by a musician, a German jazz player. So all these things are there in our tradition. We are trying to contemporize it. We are trying to make these practices that can be useful and relevant for a performer and an actor. Sometimes we go very distant inside the forest, on the hilltops. Last month only we were in Ichagaon in the hilltop. If you visit my page, Manish Mitra, or if you visit, we have a page called Organic Theatre and a page called Koshba Orgo. You can find some photos and video clippings of the exercises that we do in our organic theatre workshops. So say we reach in a forest around 2 in the midnight. And it's a very dense forest. We take our actors near a very small stream. They can't see the stream at that in that darkness. They only listen to the sound of the stream, come back. The next morning, they again visit the forest. They discover the sound. So they compare the visual experience with their hearing experience. And then they are asked to celebrate that in their body without showing off, because theater is not exhibitionism. It's never an exhibitionism. When you show off, you are basically proving yourself to be very stupid and boring. Anyone who shows off a lot is actually very boring. And when you try to discover somebody and he is always a little bit mysterious, then he's very interesting. So it's equally applicable for a theater actor also. Don't show off anything. Celebrate internally. Something will ooze out. And the audience would like to peep into that space and the experience. So they do their own worships inside the forest, worship with the body. Then we ask them to celebrate the audio environment in the forest, the chirping of the birds, the streams, and an exact silence. We living in the city, we don't know what is silence. Specifically, Kolkata is so sound polluted. Ronak, I guess we are left with 12 minutes more, no? It's very difficult to talk very elaborately about music cognition on actor's body because it's a really very wide subject. I'm just trying to initiate a discussion, give you some clues. And if I really can connect with you, if you really find some interesting clues or some inspirations, I'm very approachable a man. So you can be in touch with me and we can find opportunities where we can interact and work on the subject in further depths. You know, the acting methodology, the way we see the theater these days, basically in Kolkata, even the play Chandrakala was mentioning, Mephisto, the kind of acting that is being done in the contemporary theater is realistic and naturalistic. It was advocated by a person you all know, Konstantin Stanislavski. Konstantin Stanislavski with his collaborator Nemirovich Danchenko was doing this kind of experiments and formulating a very scientific methodology for actors training in his Moscow Art Theater. And then it was developed by Lee Strasberg and other people who called it method acting. But even in the time of Stanislavski, one of his main collaborators, Meyerhold, disagreed with that kind of acting methodology. And he discovered, he advocated for his own methodology called biomechanics. And with the course of time, there have been lots of other developments with theater. Antonio Artaud has talked of theater of cruelty, and Jerzy Grotowski from Poland, he has talked of poor theater. Eugenio Barba has talked of third theater. So theater as a theater language, theater as a media has changed structurally, physically, aesthetically. A lot, and it is changing every moment. But if you look into the world maestros, I have not mentioned the name of important philosophers like Bertolt Brecht as well, because I'm not actually narrating the history of evolution of theater. I'm just giving you a broad outline to say that the theater has changed in its structure and aesthetics, in its physicality, in its language. And every day, people have tried to make theater very minimalistic. When minimalistic in approach. When Grotowski is talking about poor theater, he talks about rich theater as well. And he says that the rich theater is rich in flaws. You can, I think many of you have already read. If you have not read, you can download Poor Theater and read. It is very readily available. It's a 6 or 7 page article of Poor Theater, his doctrine of Poor Theater. Go and read it. It's very interesting. And I was fortunate enough to work extensively with the immediate followers of Grotowski in Grotowski Institute, Pontedera, and also in Poland, Wrocław. There are 2 theater institutes, Grotowski Theater Institutes, one in Wrocław, Poland, and the other in Pontedera, Italy. And Eugenio Barba had worked with Grotowski for a long time. He was one of the main collaborators. In Odin Theatrate, there is a room which they keep as a heritage room where Grotowski used to come and stay. So, and I have collaborated with Eugenio for a long time. I have visited Odin Theatre a number of times, and I've been strongly being influenced by their ideas. But I have simultaneously discovered that these people are highly inspired. They have sourced inspirations, elements, lots of things from our tradition. If you go and read Eugenio's last publication, it is The Moon Rises Above the Ganges. So he has worked extensively with Sanjukta Panigrahi, the Odissi dancer from India. Now he's collaborating with Parvati Baul. When I visited Theatre du Soleil, Ariane Mushkin was working with the Therakuthu artists of Tamil Nadu. And I'm sure that many of you don't know what is Therakuthu. We don't really look into our tradition. So if even two of you want to take theatre seriously, you need to look into the tradition, Indian tradition, because the whole world is dated to our tradition. They are sourcing elements and inspirations from our theatre. And music can change the performer's psychosomatic body. There's a simple example. When you are standing, say, during the pujas, and the footpath hawkers are very active on Goriahat market more, your body is not the same if you are having a cup of coffee in your hand and listening to a sarod or a sitar on midnight. Your body is different. Your psychosomatic body is different. So the sound environment is different. Means your body is different. Your psychosomatic body is different. Your living vibration is different. And so if your living vibration is different, then everything changes in a theater. Because we started from the conclusion or the inference or a agreement that theater is a physical celebration. I would ask one of my actors to celebrate a little with a different genre of music, maybe some Western music, and see how they respond to that also. Huh? Oishik, we do a play called Macbeth Baddo. I don't know if any one of you have seen that play. It is not actually Macbeth. It is actually a physical celebration of Macbeth's tragic contradictions in a very Indian way. So one actor performs only, and this play has been performed more than 115 times. And out of that, almost 80 shows have been performed in Europe. It has been performed in all big theaters of the world, like Odin Theatre and Theatre du Soleil, and almost in all the big international Shakespeare festivals, excluding Globe. Though this is the only play from India to be invited to Stratford upon Avon, Shakespeare's own place. So this has well been appreciated by Shakespeare practitioners as well. Ronak, if you can arrange, we can try to, because it is a single man show, and your auditorium, I have been there a number of times in Xavier's. It is highly possible to be performed there. It takes 45 minutes. So as a follow-up story of this discussion, we can have a show of Macbeth Baddo happening in Xavier's. Maybe you can find some context of what I am saying today. Oishik, will you kindly demonstrate a little part with some? This is Oishik Rajchaudhuri, and he will be demonstrating from a recorded music. Bishamunda আছে তোরা ঘুঙুর গুলো নিয়ে নে ওইটা করবো এরপরে ওই just one second. You say something? Oh, sir, please put it. Huh? Yeah, they are arranging the music. Just a minute. Yeah, well, I'll do that. দেখে নাওনি কেন? শরৎ, অনুপম শরৎ হয়েছে? দাও। Oshi, would you mind doing with a bare body? They can see how your entire muscular body is also functioning. দেখো না, গিয়ে দেখো না। I'm very, very sorry. Because we are in Sundarbans and it is not our audio system we are working with. ছেড়ে দে এবার। Don't touch. Will it happen or we'll go for something else? ছেড়ে দে। You are infected. Is infected. Everyone is infected. With magnet 20 positive. So you can imagine the level of intensity that is in his body. And we don't develop anything very artificially, very externally, but it's a very organic. We try to do it very organically, and it always happens with sound, with some sound energy being put into the actor's body. I guess it is time to conclude because I've talked for 1 hour, and I think the Ronak আমাদের তো সময় শেষ নাকি? Oh, really? I'm not boring you. আমার কখনো একবারও কথা শুনতে হলে যে যত ইন্টারেস্টিং হোক আমার ডেফিনেটলি ঝিমুনি আসে, মানে আমি খানিকটা ঝিমিয়েই পড়ি, ঘুমিয়েই পড়ি। কিন্তু যাই হোক মাঝে মাঝে ডেমনস্ট্রেশন হচ্ছে বলে বোধহয় তোমাদের ঘুম চলে যাচ্ছে। What you can plan is plan a 2 hours workshop, physical workshop, where 45 minutes we will perform Macbeth, and in the second half we can try with you all. We'll be taking some recorded music and pieces and our musicians and make you see how you can work with your own bodies responding to the music. If I walk with you in person, then maybe it will make a little more sense. However, আমি একটা নাটক করেছি, সেটা তোমরা দেখেছো হয়তো কেউ কেউ যারা আমার ফেসবুকে আছো, সুন্দরবনে বিদ্যেধরী নদীর চরে। It's মনসা মঙ্গল, but the hero of my play is not Monosha, it's Behula. It's a very interesting play. 60 জন মিলে অভিনয় করছে, আমাদের মিউজিশিয়ানরা রয়েছেন, এবং এটা হচ্ছে নদীর চরে 26শে ডিসেম্বর। ইফ ইউ আর ফ্রি, জাস্ট ডে আফটার টুমরো, 4:30 নাটকটা শুরু হবে, 6টায় নাটকটা শেষ হয়ে যাবে। It takes 2 hours from Science City. দল বেঁধে চলে এসো as my guest. You will have a very very lifetime experience, I'm sure. ওই যখন সূর্যটা ডোবে, দ্যাট টুয়াইলাইট, দ্যাট কোণে দেখা আলো, দ্যাট গোধূলি, আর তখন ওই নৌকোর পালে রং লাগিয়ে নাটকটা শুরু হয়, and then the light changes and it gets changed into a artificial light and the performance goes on in the darkness also. So it's something very magical that happens. I invite all of you. আর ওদেরকে বলবো ওরা যদি ওই নাটকের একটা গান তোমাদের প্রেজেন্ট করে as a invitation to the Zavarians. আসো, এটা হচ্ছে বেহুলা যখন স্বর্গে যায়, গিয়ে নাচে, মানে I had a feeling কি যে অ্যাকচুয়ালি দেবতারা অসভ্যতা করেন, বেলেল্লাপানা করেন আর কি। একজন মানে মহিলার নাচ দেখে তার স্বামীর প্রাণ ফিরিয়ে দিতে রাজি হওয়া, এমনি ফিরিয়ে দিতে পারতেন, মানে so we have designed this thing like this. The Vehulas are coming to the stage. We have many Vehulas. বসা থেকে So they can't hear your clappings. I am communicating your applause to them. They will feel inspired more if you can manage to come in groups. You will have a very wonderful time and a very lifetime experience to be with this Sundarban part of my soul. And when they wear the saris and put the alta, and so it's like, great. Esho tomra parle. And instead of me elaborating anything else or making out some new points or new perspectives, it would be better if you want to ask some questions. I would love to answer to a couple of questions, if you have any. Shuparna, no?
Hi, sir. Shoporna. First of all, thank you, sir, for this lovely workshop. আমরা খুবই এনজয় করেছি এন্ড ওই যে সুন্দরবনের সেই স্টিমের এবং সেই যে আলতা পরা বেহুলা লক্ষিন্দরের যে এই যে চিত্রটা পুরো জিনিসটাই একদম মনের মধ্যে যেন গেঁথে যাচ্ছে। আমরা সত্যি মিস করে গেছি একটা ফিজিক্যাল ওয়ার্কশপ। বাট ইয়েস স্যার, আমার একটা কোয়েশ্চেন আছে। আমরা যে সাইকোসোম্যাটিক এই যে বডি ফিচার্স গুলো মানে থিয়েটারে করি, তো আমাদের কাছে কোনটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট হবে একটা মানে সঙ্গীত নাট্য করার জন্য, মানে ইনস্টিংক্ট না অবজারভেশন, মানে কোনটার উপর বেশি জোর দেব?
I think they are dialectically related because observation does not mean a mere observation for an actor or an artist. When you are observing something, it is organically creating some responses, some ripples, something inside your space. Your inner energy is changing, and that is your sensitivity. So when you are observing with your full sensitivity. And when you are observing with your full sensitivity, then very naturally, I don't exactly want to use the term instinct, because instinct is a bit loosely used term. But I would choose to use the word organic response, psychosomatic organic response to what is happening around you, to your sensitivities. When you listen to a music, it is not that you have left behind all your experiences in your home and you come and walk in the theater. You remember everything that you are unhappy with in this, all the discriminations in the society, the poverty, the COVID, the failure of your country to handle the emergency, your prime minister asking you to bang utensils. You carry all these things in your space, in your internal space. And so when you are responding to the music organically. You are responding to all those vibrations that are not very poignant but exist within your space. They already exist there. I think I could partially answer your question. Let us meet in an organic workshop in Sundarban or in the hills. Maybe in March, I'm again going to the hills. There I'll be spending 17 days. Get registered with Shubho. I am not a money-making person. I don't take any money for the workshop. Only thing is, I want to give clues to people so that they walk on their own. I can't teach anything. I don't teach also. My actors are very well trained, but I really don't train them. I really don't know how to train, but I can give important clues from where they can discover themselves. So let us meet somewhere outside the city and carry on with these discussions further.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.
We will be rather eager and waiting for such an opportunity.
Yes, it's very possible because we only charge for the hotel stay there and your travel cost. Our theater does not charge any money for that. So whatever you will be paying, you will actually be paying to the railways and the hotel. So if you can arrange that minimal money, saving from your smoking and other other small things, it's highly possible. Yes, John. Question.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, please. Who is this?
Sir, I'm Amlan. Sir, my question is a very general question regarding theater. Whenever any actor যখন সে স্টেজে যায় বা তার যে ডায়লগ ডেলিভারি বা যে কোনো বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ যখন আমি একটা জায়গায় শুনেছিলাম যে এই যে বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ বা যে কোনো আমরা যখন স্টেজে কিছু পারফর্ম করি তো সেটা আমাদের ডেইলি লাইফ আমরা কীভাবে লিড করছি সেটার সাথে খুব ডাইরেক্টলি রিলেটেড। তো এই মানে একজন অ্যাক্টরকে ঠিক কীরকম মানে তাকে এক্স্যাক্টলি মানে সেই রকম বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ সেরকম রিয়ালিস্টিক বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ বা এক্সপ্রেশন ওরকম নিয়ে আসতে গেলে তো তার ডেইলি লাইফে কিরকম ভাবে তার লিড করা উচিত, মানে সেটা কি খুবই সোশ্যাল হতে হবে বা তার কমফর্ট জোনের বাইরে বা এরকম কিছু?
Where do you live?
Sir, I live in Kolkata, Behala.
Behala. I live in Koshba. We have an ashram in Koshba. Some people choose to call it an ashram. Some people choose to call it a commune, but we stay together with some of our actors and musicians. We stay together. Be with us for 15 days and your question will be answered.
Okay, all right.
You won't have to pay us anything. Only thing is that you have to share all the activities in the organization. You have to do your own cleaning. You can access everything in our archive, and we have a very, very rich archive. It's even richer than the Sangeet Natak Academy archive. We have performance. We have performance from the Globe Theatre. We have performances from Royal Shakespeare Company. So I'm really but a very small and claustrophobic space to live in because it's a small house. So if you can share the trouble, come and stay with us for 15 days. I think your question will be partially answered.
So where is the location, sir?
It's very famous for Bharer Pandal, the Shitala Mandir Pujo.
Okay, sir. Thank you. All right, sir. I'll definitely try to come.
Shubho? Is Shubho there? Okay, drop in a message through Shubho to me in WhatsApp or connect with me in Facebook and be in touch. I'm very easily approachable. Don't worry. If I'm in Kolkata, I'm very easily approachable. The thing is, most of the time I'm roaming around. Though the movement has been restricted because of this Corona, we cannot travel abroad these days. But ঠিক hai, দেখা হয়ে যাবে. And Kushal and Chandrakala has questions.
হ্যাঁ স্যার, আমার একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল।
স্যার
স্যার বলছি যে আমার প্রশ্নটা উরুভাঙ্গমের একটা সিনের ওপর ভিত্তি করে। আমি 2019-এ উরুভাঙ্গম দেখার আমার সৌভাগ্য হয়েছিল রবীন্দ্র সদনে। তো সেটাতে একটা একটা দৃশ্যে মানে যেটা পুরোপুরি মিউজিক আর অ্যাক্টরস বডি, মানে আপনার আপনার যে মিউজিক কগনিশন নিয়ে আপনি যেটা বলছিলেন, সেটা পুরোপুরি মিউজিক আর অ্যাক্টরস বডি দিয়ে যেটাকে মানে অভিনয় করা হয়েছিল অন স্টেজ। সেই দৃশ্যটা হচ্ছে আফটার দ্রৌপদী গেটস ম্যারিড টু মানে all the five of the Pandavas, and she comes and lays down 5 different sheets, and she beds every single husband on 5 nights of the week, and that is how her life goes on. মানে সেটাই রিপিট করতে থাকে, অ্যান্ড পুরো দৃশ্যটা অসাধারণভাবে, মানে আমি যদি খুব ভুল না বলে থাকি তাহলে অভিনেত্রীর নাম ম্যারি ছিল। মানে I had gone and I had talked to her backstage. I was mesmerized after seeing her on stage. And ওই পুরো দৃশ্যটাই ম্যারি with her body and the music that was being played live পুরোটা দিয়ে কনভে করা হয়েছিল। তো আমার প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে কি মিউজিক্যাল থিয়েটারে তার মানে ডায়ালগের ইম্পর্টেন্স কতটা, বা ডায়ালগের ইম্পর্টেন্স এতটাই মানে ডিমিনিশ করে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে শব্দ না দিয়েও আমি নিজেকে কনভে করতে পারছি। তাহলে ইজ ইট আ সর্ট অফ লাইক ডিকনস্ট্রাকশন অফ দ্য বিলিভস যেটা আমাদেরকে শেখানো হয়েছে কি নিজেকে কনভে, নিজের ইমোশনস কনভে করার জন্য আমাকে সবসময় শব্দ ব্যবহার করতে হবে, যেটা মানে ইজ দিস হোয়াট মিউজিক্যাল থিয়েটার ইজ ট্রাইং টু মানে এস্টাবলিশ?
And a very, very interesting and relevant question, which I would love to answer with at least 2 hours time in hand with my actors and musicians all seated together. But simply saying, avoid using terms like musical theater and physical theater, because it does not make sense. Once I was sitting beside Ariane, we were taking dinner in Theatre du Soleil in Paris, and a journalist from London came and asked her that what is your perception about physical theatre, and then that old lady looked at the journalist and ate, and looked at the journalist and ate, and looked at the journalist and ate, and then sipped a drink and said, what is your idea about a musical song? Then the journalist was completely confused, because a song has to be musical if it has to be a song. So a play has to be musical. Even if a single piece of music is not played, your diction, your language, your physicality, even if there is absolute silence, your body will be resonating with the music. So every theater has to be musical. So don't specify anything like that, because we have a habit of reading and fetching out definitions from our book, from our academic experiences. But for all performing arts, for actors, it's best to redefine from your own experience. That's why when I was looking for a definition of theater at the beginning, I was again and again telling that don't give a bookish definition. Give a definition of your perception. And it was so unique that all of you gave a very unique definition, and all very truthfully from your own experience. It was not a very academic, bookish definition. So don't call anything a musical theater. Every theater is musical. As far as the language is concerned, the vernacular is concerned, the spoken words, the economy of spoken words had long been dealt with. So it's nothing new. It's our tragedy that theatre in Kolkata is lagging so many centuries behind that we still go on doing Upen Babu Bari Achen and Mashima Malpoa Khabo for hours and hours together. But theatre ke to nijer jomir opor darate hoy, একটা বড় তাল গাছের মতন কিংবা একটা বড় বট গাছের মতন নিজের শিকড়টা নিজের মাটিতে বিস্তার করে দাঁড়াতে হয়, কিন্তু তার ডালপালাগুলো এমন হবে যাতে করে সে একটা মাইগ্রেটেড পাখিকেও আশ্রয় দিতে পারে। তাই থিয়েটার যখন আমি মণিপুরে করব, মণিপুর ইজ লাইক ইউরোপ ফর মি, বিকজ মেনি পিপল ইন ইউরোপ আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড মাই ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, বাট মেনি পিপল ইন মণিপুর ডাজ নট আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড মাই ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ. So if you perform in Manipur or Kerala, China or Poland, then your vernacular does not function. So Don't you think that you can communicate emotionally to a person in Poland? I did a Dagkhor, international production of Dagkhor in Warsaw to celebrate Janusz Korczak's birthday on 25th July in Warsaw. Because Janusz Korczak, you all know, did Rabindranath Tagore's Dagkhor, and after that, the children were taken to the Treblinka gas chamber with the children of his orphanage to celebrate his birthday. I was there in Warsaw, and I celebrated I approached the Ministry of Culture Poland to support me, and they supported the travel of the actors from Germany, America, musicians, and so I did a play in of Dagkhor. It was a multilingual play. And there were very little spoken words. There were Rabindranath Tagore songs. Little portion of Omol was in Bengali. Shudha was absolutely talking in Polish. There were German words. There were English words. But the energy created at the end was so strong. And you know, Poland is such a country where there is still some post-Second World trauma existing in the very deep in the society. So if you penetrate a little deep into them, that surfaces out. And I heard people sobbing at the end of the play. So it's not true that to express your emotion, you need to talk. But yes, you can utter a sound. Ah! If I say like this, then you can understand my irritation. You can understand that I'm happy. But that is not vernacular. That is not a spoken word. শুভাশিসকে বুঝতে পারি। আড়াইটে অব্দি তো শুভাশিসের বসার কথা। হ্যাঁ। Any more question? কুশল।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ধরুন কোন নাটক প্রসেনিয়ামদের অভিনীত হলো, পরবর্তীকালে সিদ্ধার্থের ভাবানুত্বকে অনুসরণ করে একটা সংক্ষিপ্ত নাটক রচনা করা হলো এবং সেটা প্রসেনিয়াম থিয়েটার না, সেটা স্ট্রিট প্লে বা থার্ড থিয়েটারের মতো পাবলিক অডিয়েন্সে অভিনয় করা হলো, সেক্ষেত্রে আঙ্গিক কতটা বদলে যাবে?
কি বুঝলাম না, আবার কি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ধরুন একটা নাটক প্রসেনিয়াম থিয়েটার বা নর্মাল অডিটোরিয়ামে অভিনীত করা হলো, পরবর্তীকালে সেই নাটকটাকে নাটকের যে ভাবানু দত্ত, সেই ভাবানু দত্তকে অনুসরণ করে একটা সংক্ষিপ্ত নাটক রচনা করা হলো এবং সেটা প্রসেনিয়াম নয় বরং পাবলিক থিয়েটার বা স্ট্রিট প্লে হিসেবে অভিনয় করা হলো, থার্ড থিয়েটার হিসেবে পাবলিক অডিয়েন্সে, সেক্ষেত্রে আঙ্গিক কতটা বদলে যাবে?
সম্পূর্ণই বদলে যাবে। সেটা তো যে ডিজাইন করবে নাটকটা, যারা সাজাবেন নাটকটা কোলাবোরেট করে, তাদের মেধা বুদ্ধি সৃজনশীলতার উপর নির্ভর করবে, তাদের আর্টিস্টিক ইন্সপিরেশনস এর উপর ডিপেন্ড করবে, তারা কেন বাইরে ওটা করতে চাইছেন, দর্শনটাই তো বদলে যাবে। যখন আমরা থিয়েটার করি, একটা ব্ল্যাক বক্সের মধ্যে থিয়েটার করি, আমি বারবার এটা বলে থাকি যে ইডেন গার্ডেনে তো আর ফুলসজ্জা রচনা হয় না। ফুলসজ্জা রচনা করার জন্য একটা ছোট ঘর, একটা ইন্টিমেট বেড দরকার হয়, যেখানে একজন পুরুষ একজন নারীকে তার প্রথম প্রেমের শব্দ বলবে এবং তারপরে তারা তাদের শারীরিক প্রেমে মত্ত হবে। এটা এক্সপেক্টেড ফ্রম আ ফুলসজ্জা নাইট। সেটা তো ইডেন গার্ডেনে হয় না। আর ইডেন গার্ডেনে যেটা হয় সেটা তো আর ফুলসজ্জার খাটে হয় না আর কি, সেটা তো ইডেনেই হতে হয়। তাই পুরো দর্শনটাই তো আলাদা, গঠনগতভাবে আলাদা। সেটা যে ইডেনে খেলতে যাবে সে ঠিক করে নেবে আমি ইডেনে খেলার জন্য এরকম 22 জন আমার টিম মেম্বার্স লাগবে, 11 নিশ্চয়ই আমরা যখন ওটাকে কালো একটা ছোট ঘরের মধ্যে ঢুকিয়ে ফেলবো ম্যাকবেথ বাদ্যর মতন, তখন ওটা আমরা কখনো ম্যাকবেথ বাদ্য রবীন্দ্র সদনে অভিনয় করবো না, একাডেমিতেও করি না। 500 লোকের জন্য নয়, ওটা নিবিড় করে বীর করে কাছে ডেকে বলার মতন কিছু কথা, যেটা তোমার পিঠে হাত রেখে ভালোবেসে বলবো, কুশল এই মিটটা যেন শেষ না হয়, পরে যোগাযোগ রাখিস। সেই কথাটা কি মাইক নিয়ে চেঁচিয়ে বাজারে বলার মতন কথা? দর্শনটাই তো আলাদা। তার ভিত্তিতে যে ডিজাইন করবে সে করবে। সেটা আমি বিষ্ণু পদ্মপুরাণ রচনা করছে এর মতন করে দাঁড়িয়ে পদ্মফুলের উপর কি করে বলে দেবো কেমন হবে?
আচ্ছা, বুঝতে পেরেছি স্যার, ধন্যবাদ। বুঝতে পেরেছি।
Thank you for all your questions, for all your supportive gestures, and for allowing me to speak on my theatre philosophy, my discoveries on music cognition. রৌনক এই ইনিশিয়েশন নেওয়ার জন্য ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে আমার অনেক অনেক ভালোবাসা তোমরা একাডেমিক জায়গায় প্রতিষ্ঠিত হও ইউ আর ফ্রম আ ভেরি গুড ইনস্টিটিউট আর তোমাদের আর্টিস্টিক জীবনও ইকুয়ালি ব্রাইট হোক শেষ করি
স্যার একটা আবেদন করব স্যার আবেদন করব মানে ধরুন জানুয়ারি থেকে তো কলেজ খুলে যাচ্ছে আমাদের অফলাইন টেস্ট হচ্ছে তখন একটা সামনের বছর আপনি যদি আসেন তাহলে ভালো হয় আর কি ফিজিক্যালি সামনে থেকে যদি আলোচনা সভা করা যায়
I would love to সেটা কোনো সমস্যাই না আমি যে বারবার বলছি আমাকে পৌঁছানো খুব সহজ শুধু আমি প্রচন্ড ব্যস্ত থাকি শুভজিৎ আমার সেক্রেটারি আমার স্টুডেন্টও ওর সাথে একটু যোগাযোগ করে নিলে it's very easy to reach me out if I have really been able to communicate you inspire you somewhere I would love to extend the relation রৌনক
Thank you.
আমার তো গেল রৌনক তাহলে আমি বিদায় নিই Okay, thank you so much for being with me for such a long time. আর তোমরা যদি একটা ছোট টিম করে আসতে পারো তাহলে টক টু শুভ ওই একটা গাড়ি আসবে বোধহয় উইঙ্গার বা কোনো একটা গাড়িতে ও ব্যবস্থা করে দেবে যে গাড়িটা 1:30টার সময় ওখান থেকে ছাড়বে 3:30টায় এসে পৌঁছবে 3:30 থেকে 4:30 নদীর ধারে বিড়ি টিড়ি খাবি তারপরে 4:30 থেকে নাটক দেখবি 6টা অবধি 6টার পরে আবার ওই গাড়িটা বাড়ি পৌঁছে দেবে সো উইদিন 10 PM ইউ আর ব্যাক হোম সুন্দরবন মানে অনেক দূরে নয় কাছেই আর কি so try out I would feel very happy if at least some of you can manage to come bye bye be in touch on the Facebook be in touch in WhatsApp but be in touch
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we come to the end of the second day of Theatrixmas. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude and thanks to Sir Manish Mitra and his team on behalf of our society. I hope every one of you enjoyed the show thoroughly. Stay tuned with us for our next workshop by Meenu Haq on the 27th of December, 7 PM onwards. Thank you.